So the BAUD is used, Dr. Frank Hollis invented the BAUD in Dallas. He is a brain trainer that works with Dr. Phil. He's on Dr. Phil a lot. He invented the BAUD to use for ADHD, but what they have found is they can use it for depression, anxiety, trauma especially. They use it a lot with veterans. There's a lot of studies behind it on treating trauma for veterans, because what happens is when the brain has been traumatized, it's holding that in the short-term memory, and the short-term memory is being triggered by things that are around them. So it's kind of like EMDR in the fact that it takes that, it gets rid of the pathways that where your mind automatically goes to when there's trauma. So the brain just keeps reliving that trauma, and we want to break it up so it's not going there every time there's something that triggers that. In the same way, it gets, then you're able to deal with the emotional response that comes with the brain triggered from the trauma. So what it does is it's a sound device, and we use it to, the person gets to that state where they think about the thoughts. They don't have to talk or do anything, but they think about the thoughts and all the things that come with that, and they can physically respond. Their body will start shaking, or they'll start, some people start crying because they're thinking about the thoughts, and the sound barriers that we use with this machine actually break those thoughts up. So it's like the brain doesn't go there anymore. It's like the brain automatically, they call it reset therapy. So they're resetting the mind and getting rid of the ways that the brain has been going for an automatic response. And that, in that respect, that's how it's like EMDR. It's not like they forget the memory, but it's now in a long-term storage where it should be, instead of triggering them every day.
So can you explain how neurofeedback and the BAUD work together really nicely?
So neurofeedback is more calming. We're trying to calm the brain, especially with the kids at the Institute, from trauma. So we can calm the brain down, but that's not going to get rid of the thoughts or the things that trigger them. It takes away the ruminations, where if they get upset, they're able to bounce back quicker, but they're still going to have that automatic response from trauma that causes their brain to automatically go to that place where it recognizes something's bad and it's in that fight or flight mode. So what it does is it breaks the thought patterns up. So we're calming the brain, but then we're also getting rid of the thoughts that are triggering the trauma. So together, it's along with talk therapy, of course, it's really powerful because you can actually change your thoughts, get rid of that constant. I always say people with PTSD, it's just this constant agitation in the frontal area that's just triggering constantly, and they're just responding to that because the brain doesn't know how to do anything else. If we can get rid of that, then they're in a much calmer place. They're not being triggered by things that cause them to go into that panic state of learned neurological pathways that have been learned, and so it just breaks that up.
That's great. I want to welcome Forrest, Lien, our executive director, to join you so that he can talk about how neurofeedback and now the BAUD help kids and how that fits all together into our model here at the Institute.
Okay.
Forrest, could you talk about how the BAUD and neurofeedback fits in nicely with our program?
Yeah, we're always looking for any kind of technique we can to add to our program that helps kids' brains calm down and regulate. And so I was trained in neurofeedback years ago. Shelli was trained in neurofeedback, and we met at some kind of movie or something, and found out that she's doing neurofeedback specifically with kids with trauma, and plus she's an adopted mom, so it was a good match for us. So she understood what we're trying to accomplish, what our goals are. So it was a great addition to the team. And so our hope is that in all aspects of our program, we are creating calm environments for the kids to fit into, because their brains are so dysregulated. Oftentimes these kids create chaos in their environment to match how their brains feel. And so Shelli and I talked about how to help their brains calm down and regulate. So it just fit nicely with our focus and what we're trying to accomplish with these kids.
So since Shelli joined the Institute team, how have things changed, or how have our results gotten better?
Well, we're always trying to figure out what drives what impacts these kids the most to get better, and I think that can make us a little crazy if we try to break that down. So what we've noticed is that we've added neurofeedback and the BAUD since January, and our kids seem to be calmer quicker, and that they're going home feeling more regulated. I don't know whether that's medicine, the milieu, the therapy, or neurofeedback. But I think all together, putting all pieces together, we have the best chance for kids to regulate and get beyond their trauma damage. So
And stay in their homes.
exactly, that's our goal.